Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. As always, shout out to the 19. I swear it never fails. Step away from the computer, go touch some grass, have a life. That's when stuff happens that we want to talk about. That's when the good content comes out, and I miss it. So this happened. Yeah, this happened. This is almost comical. No, it is comical. It truly is comical. You couldn't script this better. The Dallas Wings and the Connecticut Sun have completed a trade where the Dallas Wings will receive Dijonai, Dijon the Mustard, Carrington herself, along with the 2025 number 12 pick, and the Connecticut Sun get J.C. Sheldon and the 2025 number 8 pick. Now, I think this is hands down a win for the Sun. J.C. Sheldon is a heck of a player in her second year, only going to get better. I don't think Carrington is nearly as good as people think she is. I think there was a lot of other stuff, other factors that went into her getting most improved player last year that had nothing to do with what she did on the court. I think we're seeing that in Unrivaled with 3v3. She's getting exposed. JC Sheldon is younger, obviously. Now, I don't know if it's gonna pay off for the Connecticut Sun now because I think they've lost every single starter on last year's team. That franchise is in absolute disarray. I don't know if maybe they're just planning on folding and they're gonna let one of the expansion teams just replace the Connecticut Sun because we've talked before in the past about their facilities and players no longer wanting to play there. I don't know that ownership gives a crap at all about that franchise. So who knows what's going on with there, but this is absolutely wild to think after everything we saw last year, the Dallas Wings, while holding the number 1 pick in the draft, believe the process to a rebuild, the process to success involves going out and getting the toxic twins, a couple of the most toxic players in the WNBA. And that is saying things, folks. Going out and getting Dijonai Carrington and Nalyssa Smith. This is not going to end well. Fever fans know firsthand what these players have been like. Nalyssa Smith sabotaging the Indiana Fever with her play because let's face it, Dijonai Carrington is the alpha in that relationship. She's the one that does whatever she wants. She's got Nalyssa Smith wrapped around her finger. It's really kind of sad to witness. I wish Nalyssa Smith would get away from her. Instead, Dijonai Carrington ends up following her, not necessarily by choice, but following her to Dallas. This is not going to end well for the Wings. This is one of the worst things about the WNBA is this there's just way, way too many relationships in this league. You just don't have this elsewhere. And look, the NWSL, yeah, there are some relationships between players in there, but you know what? You never hear about it because the NWSL just simply doesn't have the insane toxic drama that the WNBA has. Many, many companies do not allow dating between employees because of stuff like this. Imagine what happens when you get to Dallas and Carrington and Alyssa Smith have relationship troubles, or someone like Enrique or Paige comes in and they have an issue with how Carrington is playing. Maybe she's not making a pass she should, or not putting forth the effort, whatever it is. Any of you have played or even watched enough, you know where teammates are going to have issues with each other at times. And so what? You're going to get Alyssa Smith come in and knock out one of her teammates because she said something she didn't like to her girl? Really? Is this what it's going to be like in Dallas? Poor Paige. Look, I changed my mind on Paige Beckers. Now, there's no evidence at all that this whole doesn't want to play in Dallas thing came from Paige herself. But if it did, I'm okay with it now. And if it didn't, Paige, maybe that's something you ought to actually do now. Because if I was Paige Beckers and I was coming out and I was going to be the number 1 pick, I don't want to go to Dallas. No one is going to want to go to Dallas and be part of this show. Now, one thing that is absolutely hilarious. Now, all right, first of all, let's look at this. I want to back up just a second because this is important. We've kind of talked about this before, but this is what forget even getting someone for it. And again, I made clear I wish they probably could have kept the number 8 pick, but overall I love the trade. I think Sophie Cunningham's going to be a really good fit. I think she's going to be a plus for the Fever. But even without that, as I've said, look at this with Nalyssa Smith. If we look at the offensive rating, right? We have three players that are negative. Demir Dantas basically no difference, minus 2.8. However, she came in, as we know, she came in off injury. I think she was out of shape and rusty, and she got better and better. I don't think that's going to be an issue this year. But then you had Erica Wheeler, minus 10. Nalyssa Smith, minus 11.7. Okay. Now you had Aaliyah Boston was a plus 17.5. Caitlin Clark plus 22.1. Lexi Hull plus 10.8 offensively, folks. Now, defensive, defensive rating, and this is what's really wild. Erica Wheeler, Katie Lou Samuelson, and Nalyssa Smith are the only negatives. Erica Wheeler minus 2.9. Katie Lou Samuelson only minus 3.1. Nalyssa Smith minus 28.2. She was an absolute disaster for the Indiana Fever last year, folks. An absolute disaster for that team in every way, shape, or form. From how she handled herself and her attitude to her play on the court. It is absolutely a fact that the Fever are a better team without her. And now, this is kind of hilarious. I don't know if you all saw this. I thought about doing a full video on this, but because this is kind of wild. Dijonai starting her nonsense again. And as Ken Swift says here, shout out to Ken. He's really good on X. Happy with Indiana just playing basketball. That's blatantly obvious. Now, while in Florida, of course, and what not even what 2 weeks into a new administration, she's going straight for the political stuff, and she calls out Indiana, of course. But listen to listen to where else she calls out.
Absolutely. I definitely hope that that happens soon. And obviously, it's still pretty fresh, the changeover, but we see that some of the policies are already going into action, and of course, that means that as the WNBA and being at the forefront of a lot of these movements, it's time for us to also take action. And I think it affects different teams in the W differently because of what city you're in or what state you're in, whatever it might be. So I think it'd be huge to just sit down and really have conversations with, teams like Dallas or teams like Indiana or different teams like that that have policies that might be different than a California or a Phoenix, Arizona. So
Absolutely wild. First, take those things off your eyes and get rid of the culturally appropriated hair. Just kidding, but this is wild. First of all, I the politics at all because I have no idea what policies she's talking about that just happened that somehow take away her rights that other people do have. But in general, let's look at the big picture. This is actually, besides the product on the court not being great, this is has been one of the big problems for the WNBA in its existence, and that is that it has always been about activism and not basketball. And here she is saying she wants more of that. She wants more activism. This is not the way to go about growing the league. Not the way at all. Um, but anyway, I'm just gonna put this cracked me up. It's funny seeing people's heads are exploding over Sophie Cunningham winning the Indiana Fever. But I think this is also the way a lot of the fans feel, just getting rid of Nalyssa Smith as well. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Dallas with Nalyssa Smith and Dijonai Carrington on the same team. If I don't know how long that is going to work. I think that is going to be a problem. I can tell you, if I was running a team, in any owner, GM, coach, I would not want players that are dating on my team. And I don't care what kind it is. I don't care if I have a team of men. I don't care if I have a team of women. I don't care if I have a team of both. If I have a sports team and my job is to build a culture to win games, I do not want romantic relationships to be a part of it. I think we all, I shouldn't say all, but I think a lot of us know what that can do in a work environment. Take the sports out of it, take the cultural or political aspects of side, just the general idea of romantic relationships in a workplace, right? Not not the best thing. I don't think that's the best thing for anyone. By the way, oh, real quick, just what you're seeing here. Again, look at and I show that. I want to back it up again. I didn't even get a chance to get it out. I got so many thoughts in my head. I'm getting them all out at the same time. So this just made me think of Nalyssa Smith and a lot of that lack of effort we saw last year, right? This is Sophie Cunningham. Watch Sophie Cunningham. She's the one running late to play. Not only does she make the play, but just look at the effort, folks. The effort on this turnover for her to get down the court and make a play on someone who thinks she's got an easy bucket. That is absolutely phenomenal. That's the type of stuff you're going to get from Sophie Cunningham when she comes plays to the Fever. Um, but oh yeah, I did want to show you one more thing because this is kind of wild. Check this out. These are the people who are losing it, right? Uh, Shout out the W360. One of the slows really said abandon the Fever altogether. I've many times I'll probably do it eventually if you don't know who this person is who's completely changed their name because of some other things they've said. But this is simply because Sophie Cunningham is going to the Fever. The Fever becoming the MAGA team they were destined to be is actually perfect. We can all now focus on the 12 teams that actually matter in this league and abandon the Fever altogether. They put all of their assist eggs in one basket and into one county jail building. It's perfect. These people are so mentally unhinged. They have so completely lost their minds. It is fascinating. The teams that actually the teams that have lost hundreds of millions of dollars, those teams, the teams that have never turned a profit, and then you have one team that completely has changed the entire league and given it a chance to make money, that's the team that doesn't matter. But I'm gonna leave it there. I thought I had one other thing I wanted to show you from Sophie Cunningham, but I guess not. So I'm gonna leave it there for now. But let me know your thoughts on this trade in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on what you think it's going to be like for the Dallas Wings this season. Do you think at some point they're going to implode because of the Carrington and Nalyssa Smith situation? Do you think that is going to cause issues with other players, especially if the team isn't winning or if Nalyssa or Dijonai aren't getting the minutes that they think they deserve? Um, and hey, we'll see if Paige Beckers even ends up there. But let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you checking out this video. Go have an awesome rest of the day. I will talk to you later. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That's it. See ya.